There is that extra special thing that we've been meaning to tell people.
Well, I think before we wrap up this episode, we had something very special.
Yep.
That we want to share with everyone, right?
It's really exciting.
Okay, so what is it? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, well, welcome to another episode of DeJarnett Diaries. Today, we're going to talk about a topic of parenting and what some of that journey has looked like for us. Being a couple we're an interabled couple, meaning one of us, which is moi, is in a wheelchair. And so,
you get a handicap placard.
Yes,
and
I get the special parking. Yeah, and what that journey looked like for us. So if you saw our previous episode, we touched on when we first got married and some of those years. We were 22 years old when we got married, which is crazy because we're only 23 now. Just kidding.
And we had Bronx when we were 24.
Yeah, we're good. Right? Yep. So at 20, we were both 23 going into 24. We had decided we were ready to start our family. Mm-hmm. And we kind of went into it open-handed with whatever that had to look like. I personally, and my doctors at the time, didn't know anybody with SMA, which is spinal muscular atrophy, which is what I have, that had carried their own children. And so, whether it was going to be adoption or surrogacy or all the other options that are out there, we weren't sure.
Yeah. Just started, asking doctors, like, what would it look like if you had a baby? And most of them were like, we don't know. Right.
So we were living in Arizona at the time, and we had decided to seek out a high-risk doctor, knowing that, I would probably need that. And I remember do you remember sitting in that office with her?
The Dr. Francois?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we sat down with her, the kindest woman in the world.
And she's really great.
And she just kind of but she just heard our heart that we wanted to have kids. And I think what gave me so much peace about her is she wasn't scared or intimidated. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, she said she was okay to say, I don't know. So she's like, I haven't had any clients, patients that have SMA, but I'm going to go do some research. So we left the appointment feeling still kind of up in the air, like we're not really sure, but we're at least like starting the process. And she called us, I want to say it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, and had us come in, and she was like, from everything that I see, here's a couple things we need to look out for, preterm labor, things like that. But she gave us the green light. Mm-hmm. And
she's like, I can't, from the statistics that we had that she could pull up, she's like, there hasn't been like an unsuccessful birth yet.
But she said there were like, at the time, 17 recorded pregnancies and births from a woman with SMA, which is not very high.
Yeah, 17 people to go off of is statistically not very high.
Statistically not the greatest.
But we liked those odds.
We said, is it more than one? Cool.
Yeah, it's been done. We'll do it again.
So we started the process. Stork came.
Yeah, the stork came.
And we found out we were pregnant, and I remember telling our family, and it was super exciting. And about 11 months later, 11 months. What the heck? I was thinking, well, he didn't go to 9 months. Okay, about 8 months later.
Yeah, it was a little early. But so that was part of the plan. Because in this first stage, we're like, we don't know what it's going to look like. We know you're going to get big, and how much space are you going to have sitting all the time, having a 3-month or
we don't know all of our times.
Third trimester?
Yes.
Okay, there it is. Whenever they're big. And
there were things they were monitoring, and like being conscious of breathing, things like that. And so we decided to have Bronx a little early. When Bronx was born, He tore holes in his lungs called pneumothorax, and that caused him to be in the NICU for a month. That was a really hard month.
Really hard.
I think I want to share all of that journey and that story in its own episode because as young parents, there was a lot that we had to go through mentally, emotionally, all the things. But anyways, our sweet baby boy, who his name is Bronxton. We knew his name was going to be Bronx, but my mom's from back east, and she was like, "You can't name your kid Bronx. And what if he's a doctor someday?" And we're like, "Okay, we'll name him Bronxton. Make it fancy."
Yeah. But we've always called him Bronx.
We've always called him Bronx, and it's very fitting. Of course, I think that happens. And gosh, by his first birthday, we found out we were having another baby. So
this is too easy. We need to stop. We need to take a break.
No, so Shai came. They were born about 20 months apart. And Shai, S-H-A-I, as he tells everyone, means gift in Hebrew. And he is I don't want to say a bundle of joy because that sounds like really cute and tiny and soft and squishy. He is our tornado of awesomeness.
Yeah. Yeah, he's we were going to call him Wilder.
Which sometimes feels a little fitting, but it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and like even when he tells people, especially when he was little, he'd be like 3 and talking like so much.
So he didn't talk a lot in the beginning. He was like one of those babies that just like stared at you, like deep in your soul. Like he was.
And it went from like just looks to full sentences really, really fast.
Didn't stop talking and hasn't stopped in 8 years.
Yeah, he's got a lot of words.
That's a lot of words.
But he would introduce himself to people, and he'd be like, "Hi, I'm Shai," and I'm like, "No, you're not." And he would get really confused, like, "No, I mean it is. That's my name."
That's really my name.
And then he started spelling it. I'm Shai, S-H-I-A-I.
Yeah.
It means
gift in
Hebrew. Clear up all the questions.
Yeah,
right
and they're like,
bat.
"Oh, okay, hi, little child," talking to me. But it's been super fun to watch the two of them. Those beginning years. Whew.
Still so funny to think like the same ingredients make 2 wildly different products.
Yes, your ingredients and my ingredients have made very different children.
Yeah.
I mean, people are always like, "Are they twins?" Because they look similar.
And they're really close in age. So.
They're super close in age, but they're very different. I would say Bronx is, he's gentler usually. Still a boy. Still a 10-year-old boy. A little more like emotional and sensitive and those kind of things. But and Shai is very inquisitive. Bronx is like, I think one word to describe him would be joy. Like he just exudes joy. Like
very happy.
Very happy. Not that he doesn't have his sad days, but
no. Well, he's a big emotion guy. Like he's all in on whatever's going on.
I think he gets that from one of us.
It's probably you.
Definitely not.
And Shai is like, he has deep emotions too, he processes different. He will internalize things more before he'll express how he's feeling.
Yeah. I think that's one thing as a parent I've had to like step back a little is like you have to parent them so different. Because what works for one kid does not work for the other. And I'm sure every parent will tell you that has multiple kids. But it's been so fun to like watch that. And I was talking to a friend not too long ago, and they were like, we've been married for a couple of years now. We want to have babies. And I'm like, don't have kids. It'll ruin your life forever.
Who said that?
Just kidding. I said that.
Oh, I was like, what?
They do. They ruin your life forever, but in like the best possible way. Like I don't even remember life before then.
Yeah.
Like it's weird.
I know. That is weird to think. Like me too. And I know a lot happened before that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Kids kind of are a new starting point.
Totally. Exactly. Yeah. but yeah, they challenge you, and kids are like a mirror. They reflect you, and
Honestly.
the good and the bad.
Yeah, there's been a lot of very sobering moments of, I guess I do that, or I talk that way, and I don't like the way it sounds when it comes back to me.
Yeah, so we're gonna work on that.
Yeah.
But there's challenges. I mean, I think for us being consistent in whatever season of life we're in is like super important. I know a lot of people have questions on like, how did that work when we had really young babies and I couldn't physically do the care.
Yeah.
So just to kind of explain a little bit of that, I carried the babies, yes, in my belly. I had C-sections planned for both of them. And honestly, just like every parent, when we had the first one, we had no idea what we were doing. Like babies don't come with a manual. You just figure it out. And Mark's had some special, different requirements and needs that it was like, we really got to just figure it out. Like, there's definitely no manual for this. And then even when we had our second, it was so different. But you just kind of figure it out. You just do it. And you're tired in those early years, early months especially.
Yeah. We always tell people it's a survival situation when they're first born, because you don't get much sleep,
but it'll pass. Like,
it
it's
does
just
pass.
a season.
It doesn't last forever, but it's impossible to see that in the midst of it. You just think, I'm never going to sleep again.
Right. But I remember talking, I was on a podcast with someone one time, and I was talking about that concept of like, it's just a season. And kind of like not getting trapped in wishing a season away, because once that season's gone, the season's gone. And I think that's something I've been trying is like, our kids still request me to like sit in their room at night and like do lullabies. And I don't do it all the time, but like I try to remind myself, like, they're not going to ask me this forever.
Yeah.
They're not going to need me forever. It's so sad.
No. And that's a good thing. But at the same time, it's just change, and change hurts. So, I mean, having a kid is like just such a big change, and you love them to death.
Yeah.
But it's also like, dude, you're driving me crazy with all the new needs that I'm not used to.
The new needs that I didn't know you had.
Yeah. And babies this big need accessories to fill up like 4 vans worth. And flying, you just get another plane.
We used to travel with the kids when they were little. Like on the road travel when he was doing music. They were a little bigger. They were like 2 and 4, 2 and 3.
But still, pack and plays.
Dude,
and
pack and plays and bottles.
Getting
and
them settled in
and
hotel rooms. And
yeah, what were we thinking?
we're thinking this is our chance. No, I don't think we cared. I think our mindset, and I don't know where we heard this. I know we didn't make it up, but they're born into our life. And
our world doesn't stop for them.
Right. We don't want to necessarily cater to all of their needs. That's gonna
they have needs.
Yeah, that's important, but it doesn't override. Like your life doesn't stop because you had kids and now you're just a mom. And if you were doing things before, they're doing it with you now.
Yeah, but I think that is a trap that people fall into, and a lie and a mindset is like, well, now my whole life revolves around getting this kid 30 snacks a day, when it's like, no. Like, are there times you have to feed your child? Yes.
Yeah.
But kind of, I think the common term you'll hear is like a child-centered home. Like, we don't want to have a child-centered home. We want to care for our child's needs and all of that. But it's tricky. It's tricky when they have... But yeah, so going back to like, what those early days look like, we lived in Arizona at the time when the boys were both born, and my parents and family, like my sister and brother, and his parents lived by too. They were just the support team we had to have. Like, it was...
Yeah. When they were both like under 2, I don't know.
We had 2 under 2, yeah.
We needed a lot of that.
Yeah, and they were just there helping change diapers, and because Bronx had global delays, he had bottles longer and diapers longer, so it's like they kind of got to a point where they were both doing the same thing, so we had like double everything. It was like having twins.
Right.
Okay, do you remember that one time the news station came? And
in
did a
Phoenix.
Mother's Day.
Yeah, I'm sure we could find that.
So they did a Mother's Day. What do you call it?
It's like they wanted to interview you for Mother's Day, and you did a whole special.
So the funny part is, they were just asking us, like, they were kind of following us around our house and asking us, what that looks like. And I was like, Jake changes the diaper, but I'm right there. He'll help me get propped up with the bottle and to feed the baby, or he'll whatever. And this was like literally live recorded, and I just couldn't help it. I just said it, and then we laughed later. But I told Jake, I was like, I couldn't do it without you.
Yeah.
And I looked at him on television, and I said, so I guess Happy Mother's Day to you.
They like really fixated on that too.
Yeah, they made that the highlight. I was like, okay, thanks a lot.
So I had a great Mother's Day that year.
I'm so glad. It's like, they take that one comment and just really drive it home.
Yeah, I mean, it was sweet.
I meant it sweet.
I know.
I said it, I think, sweet.
It does hurt me to think about that.
So I told Jake Happy Mother's Day on television.
Yeah, that did happen.
But it was sweet. So yeah, every season of Parenthood is obviously different.
Yeah.
Kids are fun. They're funny. They say the most hilarious things, which maybe we'll have to. I did really bad at writing those down, but we should write down the funny things that they say.
Well, stuff like that is that's funny to us. I don't know if everyone in the world is going to think that those things are funny because they're so personal. Like the time that Shai was like, we told him there's not panda around because we didn't want to go there. And he's like, it's right there.
He could read.
Yeah, as we were passing something. But we were traveling with a bunch of people and we couldn't go there anyways. But that was hilarious.
Funny things.
Yeah.
Or this one's semi-inappropriate, but it's always funny, right? Or when he was taking a shower with you.
Oh my gosh.
Am I allowed to say that one?
No.
It's hilarious. There's a little boy taking a shower with his dad, and he's, at hip level. And he turned around, and I'm in the room getting ready, and he turns around and he's like, "Hey, Daddy, why does your ding dong have a beard and mine doesn't?" And I was like, "Yeah, Jake, how you gonna answer that?"
By not showering with you anymore. Yeah. Kids say funny stuff. Just observe it.
Yeah. 2.5, 3. He's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, kids say funny stuff. Yeah. But as far as parenting, I wouldn't say we do anything special. I mean,
no, we're not here giving parenting advice. We're just here sharing our journey.
Yeah, I guess my point is we don't have to do anything extra different. Mm-hmm. I guess the main thing that we would focus on probably more than the regularly functioning house, whatever the right word is for that, would be your words have to matter, just as much as me physically grabbing them.
Right. So I can't, when they were toddlers, we had to really, really, especially with Shai, because he was more mobile, is drill in what mom says, that is solid. Meaning if I say stop, you have to stop. I can't grab you from running in the street. And I had to, we kind of crossed over this point in time where I felt like they were mature enough to be with me without you or someone else with me, for their safety, But a lot of just the practical things, when they were babies, we were strapping them in my chair. And you just figure it out,
Yeah, Bronx will still sit on your foot plate sometimes.
Yeah, we're trying to break the habit a little bit.
Yeah.
But even when they were tiny,
Yeah.
strapping them to me. I'd have 2 babies I was carrying. Okay, so funny assumption story from somebody. We could do a whole probably episode on just assumptions that people have of us. But I remember one time we had this young girl a friend of ours who was living with us, and she would help take care of me and the kids and was like a nanny to us. And she has blonde hair, blue eyes, okay? If you haven't noticed, Jake really doesn't have much hair, but he has blue eyes, and I am...
Lighter features.
And I am half Filipino. I have dark hair, dark skin, dark eyes. And my babies are lighter, and they had, when they were little, really blonde hair.
Yeah. So they're only quarter Filipino.
Right,
now.
Exactly.
And then the rest is a lot of white. And I was a super towhead. My whole family is.
Yeah, exactly. So, they got they tan really nice in the summer, but for the most part, they're pretty fair skinned. So I remember we were going to this event, and this girl is at the time like 18. And I had both the kids at this point, and we were going to an event that you were playing at. And it was at a church that we actually knew the pastors and like knew them, but not like super well. Mm-hmm. And I had Shy strapped to me. He was maybe a couple months old, and she's carrying Bronx on her hip. And I remember this woman came up to me and she was like, "Are you just a super proud auntie?" And I was like, "What?" And then my brain like connected all the dots. She thought you and the Danny were the parents because our babies are so white, and because obviously I wasn't my kid. And my comment back, which probably was a little snarky, I was like, "Actually, I'm a super proud mom." And she was a little embarrassed, I think, and was like, "Oh, I didn't realize I didn't realize they were yours." I was like, "Yep, carried them both." And just the other day, we were in a restaurant, and this guy awkwardly was talking to us and was like asking, about my personal life. It was really weird. And I told him that Bronx was my kid, and the look of shock on his face. So it was always kind of fun to do that.
But that's rare. I mean, people are dumb sometimes. But most of the time, well, I don't know what they're assuming, but people don't make comments like that a lot.
Yeah, they might think it, but some people make comments. And I was like, Yeah,
that's weird.
That's kind of weird. But it's fine. We'll run with it.
I don't think that was, like, rude, though.
No. It's more funny because I'm like, oh, that's the assumption. And I think for me it was, like, clicking because my mom used to get that. Mm-hmm. So my mom is blonde hair, blue-eyed. And my dad is full Filipino. But, when my mom had us, as we were all brown babies, all four of us with dark hair, dark features. And she kind of tells funny, joke stories about how people would assume that she adopted all these little kids in wheelchairs that are brown, so from somewhere else. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, people. Like,
that is some people. That happens. And that's awesome.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you can't just jump to that conclusion.
Right. Yeah. It's just, you just don't want to assume anything.
And if we were adopted, what does it matter? Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But people just have these weird ways of being nosy, basically, is what it is. So I like to really, when I can tell someone wants to be nosy, just lay it all out there for them. Let's just get rid of any room for awkwardness. But, yeah. What about you? Any, I don't know, funny stories, or how's it been for you? How's it been for you, being a dad?
Man, so when I was like a kid and stuff, it's not that I didn't want to get married or have kids and stuff. It just never crossed my mind.
You didn't write that in your diary?
No.
Me neither. Just kidding, I totally did.
I don't know. I just didn't even think that was... I didn't think about it like such a, stereotypical guy thing. Mm-hmm. But becoming a dad really changed a lot of my perspective on who I want to be, what kind of example I want to be, who I want to raise up, and it questions you on how are you living, a lot more. And I think that's great.
Yeah, I think it's great too. I think there's a sense of selflessness you have to have as a parent to be a decent parent. And like I said before, like they're that mirror to you. And will reflect what they see and hear and do. And, that's a challenge, but I think also a great challenge.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think we wanted to bring the boys in for a little Q&A, just a couple of minutes of talking. So we're going to go get them.
Yeah.
Yeah, go get them. All right, so we brought the boys in since we are talking a lot about them. And guys, we just shared just a little bit about being your parents and how fun you guys are. Do you guys like being part of this family?
Yeah.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite part? Chad, what's your favorite part about being parents?
That I have mom, dad, having a brother to play with all the time.
You got like a built-in best friend, huh, Bronx?
Yeah.
Huh, Chad?
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, it was. We talked a little bit about that. Just how close you guys are in age and how cool that is. What is something, you know how you always say when you're older and you guys want to go off to college, you guys want to live together?
Mhm.
You do? Do you still want to live together, Bronx?
Yeah.
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 They talk about it all the time. It's very cute. And we're like, okay, let's see if that holds true. Well, is there anything, I know you said you're excited to talk about, or I think it was Shay, right? You said you're excited to talk about being part of this family and
Yeah.
just, right, being kids in this family has been fun. Can we have fun? Yeah, you can pick up the doggy. This is real life. This is in our house, guys. So this is the real deal of real life here.
Yeah, it is.
So, anything special you want to say before we close out?
Well,
No, not yet.
Oh no.
there is that extra special thing that we've been meaning to tell people.
Well, I think before we wrap up this episode on just the beginning kind of stages of being parents to these awesome boys, we had something very special
Yep.
that we want to share with everyone, right?
It's really exciting.
Okay, so what is it? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
We're
having a baby!
Yep.
Having another baby.
You heard right, guys.
Everyone.
The DeJarnett
That's
are...
our news, guys.
That's our news.
We're having a baby child, and it's in there.
Yes.
It's in our
The DeJarnetts are expanding. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I'm really excited, and our gender is hopefully soon.
Our gender reveals hopefully soon.
Yeah,
You guys still
we're
don't know
gonna
if it's a
announce
boy
it
or girl.
on here, and we might have like a social party, maybe.
Oh, a social party.
A social party.
Oh, okay.
That sounds nice.
I
What do you think it is?
I think it's a girl.
Bronx
I think
check.
it's a boy.
Oh, we are divided on what we think. Well, we're excited. It's been a secret we've been holding for a few months now. The boys have done amazing.
How far along are you?
We're 18 weeks. We're actually almost halfway there,
Dang.
which is crazy. Yeah. So, hold tight to the next episodes. We are going to share more about this particular pregnancy, especially because it's fresh and I can remember it all right now. And we're so excited to welcome a new baby and share some of that journey with you guys too.
You guys are going to be good big brothers.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
It's gonna be so fun.